heavy, balanced, midday edible. And then we also just released last month a THCV energy chew. So we've basically got your morning, noon, and night edibles lined up for you at this point. But that CBN component of it, everybody's buying them. Everybody needs help sleeping, it seems. So we're happy to oblige in that case. And we've got it both on our taffy and in our gummy. The gummy one has actually a double dose compared to our taffy. So our taffy's a 5 milligram piece, where the Green Hornet gummy is a 10 milligram piece. So it's 10 milligrams THC, 10 milligrams CBN. And then there's a small touch of melatonin in there. So they definitely knock you out, put you to sleep, and keep you asleep.
I couldn't agree more. It's like they're a dream. It's fantastic. Yeah. So you'll seem like you'll have the whole gambit going for the team right now, which I applaud. I got to applaud you for that. You've got something for everyone. And you mentioned you have something for every strain or every part of the day. And so It seems like it's not just in the recreational sense of someone smoking pot all day and sitting on the couch like some of us, but that, it can be seen as a medicine as well. So if you know that there is maybe a strain or something that is effective for, whatever you may ail you, pain or PTSD, whatever it may be, nausea. But you have something so you can have the whole gambit or the whole line and still kind of take it as you would a PRN medication like a Zoloft or a Xanax. And for those that have panic. So I love that. I applaud you for it.
We get stories from folks fairly often related to our Sleepy Chews and our trifecta. The energy chews too new to really have anything on yet, but the other two where people tell us how they've changed their lives. I was unable to sleep until I had your Sleepy Chew. Your trifecta chew is the only thing that actually keeps me level throughout the day and helps keeps a smile on my face. That sort of stuff. It's truly amazing to get some of these unsolicited comments back from people just through our generic like email box on the website. It's crazy. So yeah, we're constantly looking at as science progresses and more of these cannabinoids are coming out. We're actively working with them to try to see what's going to work best for the cannabis users here in Colorado and potentially the people who are not cannabis users because they don't know that there's something out there that they need yet. So we're keeping a look at them. CBC is another big one that's coming down that we're starting to do some experiments with, and we're always going to keep looking at those minor cannabinoids. All right, we're back.
All right, we're back in action. Kip's small snafu on the recording device, but we're back. Okay, so Ryan, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, we were talking about the varieties of and the blowing up of the CBN. Chris, I called timeout right before you were about to ask a question. Do you want to bring us back live?
Yeah. Ryan was mentioning about science progressing and stuff like that. What's the next big thing on the horizon for edibles, in your opinion? Like where are edibles headed?
We're at it right now. It's the rosin. 100% rosin edibles. They're already starting to pop up left and right. I saw a couple of other brands just release first versions now, and we're talking to lots of people who either are in the process of developing it, or it's coming out soon, or it's next on their list. But I think getting back to kind of the roots of edibles and the market here, at least in Colorado anyway, of wanting to be able to taste your hash, wanting to be able to taste that in the edible, but have it be a good taste. That's what people are coming for. It's not the new person who's never had cannabis before. It's the people who've been around for a while, people who are in general, it's going to be a lot of people who are smokers who like the taste, who want that flavor and don't get that in the edible. We're going to see a lot of them starting to try these new rosin edibles. And then hopefully they also appreciate the effects of them. And then from there, that just is going to keep growing that segment.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed, like you've been talking about, like, y'all are doing strain specific. I don't see that a lot out there on the market. Like whenever I pick up a pack of edibles or something, it doesn't tell me like, oh, this is Bubba Kush, or is that something y'all strategically did, or do you just like to show where the source of the ingredients are coming from?
No, and that's very strategic because that's directly coming from our overall goal of trying to pair the flavor. So we want to get the flavor of that strain and get it to pair with the flavor of our edibles and create something new and exciting. So that's where the strain specific comes from. And like I said, like we're doing all the R&D and we get strains that just don't taste like anything or just don't taste good or it's good, but it's just not great. Like we don't do those. It's going to taste amazing or we're not going to put it out. And so for what we just released with our taffies and our gummies, we've got the strain specific line, high terps. The melts I mentioned earlier, those are going to be more of a blended rosin product like you've seen everywhere else. So those won't be strain specific, but we're still going to be calling out those terp profiles as well as the heavy hitters in the blend as far as strains go. So you'll still have an idea of what strains are in that, what terps are in there. So the consumer also starts to learn about what a terpene is. Why do I want to know what this is? What is it doing for my experience? What does it do for the flavor? They're going to start making those connections. So we've got like a little card that we're going to put in there, and it's going to have the whole terp profile on it, and it's going to help be an education piece as well for them.
That's incredible. It just sounds like the whole weed game is moving more toward or at least here in Colorado, because we have more educated consumers. It seems like we're driving the demand for this more specific type product. And it's great to see companies like you guys kind of heeding the call and really giving us the experience we want. It's incredible.
It's the opposite of Twitter. You're actually listening to what people want, and Instagram as well. But it is, because it's.
I've extricated myself from Twitter at this point, so I'm with you.
You're a smart man for it. But it is. You're listening to not only your audience but your consumers. We keep kind of going back on that because I'm very curious just about how the scene is these days. And you may only or specifically know Colorado, but y'all have Cheeba Chews across the country. We got massholes can buy them. Our hippie bros in California. Are those markets the same? Is that when you say we're seeing rosin everywhere? Is the market the similar scene, or do big cities, on the coast blow up in a different way than we are? Kind of like the food scene. How does that dictate?
So far, what I would say is that they're following suit. So California, Colorado are certainly, mature markets. And so they're looking for these new avenues. And California is where a lot of these other rosin edible products are starting to pop up and where they've been for a little while. A few brands out there that are making a name for themselves. And that's starting to spread. And so as the other markets mature, they're going to get into this, but they're absolutely not there yet. It doesn't, the progression doesn't happen in the same place at the same time. The consumer is still evolving the same way, a little bit quicker, I think, in some of these newer markets, Massachusetts and Oklahoma and some of these other new ones that are coming online, Missouri and things like that. They're going to go through the same evolution, but it's going to be a lot more compact. So they're going to catch up quicker because California, kind of leading the way from those, what the consumer really ultimately is going to dial into.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Okay. And I always, because I'm curious, because we always in Colorado, and I've used this phrase on this podcast, but we measure twice and cut once. We're slow to go to market because we want to make sure as a state, and it may be because we're truly purple, where everyone's working in unison for small businesses and for consumers and, big brand folks as well. But, we don't jump at something like New York is throwing out the idea of already having cannabis clubs and lounges where you can buy and smoke. We've been fucking legal for, 10 years recreationally. And we just gave shout out to JAD and the tech, those groups, they'd all got one.
We were just up there at JAD yesterday.
Yeah, it opened while I was out of town, didn't it? I missed the opening.
The grand opening is the 30th. Is what I was told. I think they're soft opening now.
Yeah. So I knew I was gonna be gone, but what's it called? So we've always kind of been a little different. So it always makes me wonder if the market's mature quicker and those, I guess.
I think we're definitely ahead of the curve. Not to say other people aren't doing other things that are going to surpass us at some point or that aren't already there in little niches. But as far as the maturity level, the customer level, the education level, Colorado is definitely ahead of the game. But like you said, just take everything slow.
Yeah.
And it's constantly evolving. I mean, we participate in several different groups that work with science and policy work group that work with the MED and rulemaking groups and things like that. to try to help make sure that there's, representation from producers and manufacturers and, all the different areas of the cannabis market there, and not just the legal lobbyists and senators and things. So, trying to take active part in it to help shape where it goes and how it goes there. But yeah, it's definitely takes its own time, but that's all right. As a whole in this country, I think we're progressing a lot faster than we used to be. And we're starting to get the snowball effect where things are happening quicker everywhere now. And it's going to just keep picking up.
Well, I mean, we've already had you break news once before the edit. But do we have do you have plans to expand? Like Chris and I are from the South. Mississippi just went legal and finally got it past that small brained governor. Like, do y'all have plans to go deeper into like new communities, or, try to hang out with our friends in Canada, like High Tide, or what are the next, I guess, evolutionary stances for Cheeba Chews as a brand?
Cheeba Chews, we're always looking to expand, but always do it in the right way. It's got to be with the right partners, the right people. They've got to execute, properly. We got to get to know them first. We're already in Nevada, Oklahoma, California, Massachusetts, but we do have a couple other markets on the line. Missouri's coming up next. New Mexico's not too far behind it.
What about
Michigan,
Europe?
New York, New Jersey.
I'll be your ambassador if you want to set up shop in Italy, where it just went legal.
I'll give you a call, because I got to figure that out for myself too.
Yeah, right. I hear the Mediterranean's a lot nicer right now.
Yeah, got palm trees in Rome. That sounds perfect.
Okay, Ryan. So we've kind of grilled you about the company. You've done very well. You've kept your business composure. You haven't said the F word nearly enough times. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and take off the work shirt, take off the work hat. We got some personal questions for you.
Oh boy.
Oh no, I didn't mean take off the personal shirt for those listening. Ryan is now shirtless in the episode. Oh, he's squeezing his boobs. Oh, it's great. No, so I had to do a little.
You will watch it and you will like it.
Yeah, a little Jim Halpert and Dwight Schrute action. But okay, so these next questions, we just, you've mentioned you've been here for a hot minute. Let's kind of get to know, what does Ryan do in the off time? Where is his favorite bar, as well as maybe his favorite dispensary and his favorite smoke, because he talked of as a smoker earlier. I heard it. So You've got to be puffing tough on some flower and some brands that we'd love to hear about. But before we get into that, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, the Seed and Smith Dart Pen. Everyone saw all of our pictures on the internet. We take that bitch with us everywhere. It's old reliable. Everybody's a believer. We've got it. It strokes. You can find them all, www.seedandsmith.com. They have 2 locations, one on Oakland Street off in Commerce City, and their new flagship location on Hecla Way, where you can find their big, gigantic, and their other fun little care packages where you can buy multiples. But again, they have the Seed and Smith Dart Pens and their 510s, flower and wax, all across the Front Range Metro and Colorado. So check them out, www.seedandsmith.com. Whew. I did that going.
One breath. That was great.
Thank you. All right, Chris. So let's start with, should we do happy hour? Ryan looks like he's a craft beer guy. He said he was a craft beer guy. Should we do happy hour or brewery?
Let's go with happy hour. I mean, he's got the wife picking up the kids from school.
Let's
so he's
party.
got time on his hands.
Let's party.
Where are we going for happy hour, Ryan?
It's going to be the same answer either way. I'm going to Fiction Beer Company.
Oh, that's right down the street from me.
Is it now?
Yeah,
that's great.
I live on the east side of town. That place is great.
Is it? Oh, that's good to hear. I also happen to own it, so that's where I go.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Dude, when he just said, is it? I was like, well, how the fuck are you not going to know if the beer's good?
Yeah, that's what
I didn't see him coming out and just flexing on us like that. Holy shit, Ryan, this episode's going 90 minutes. We're talking everything.
I was wondering when that was going to come up. It happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait a second.
Your company.
When did you? Are you like the founder or?
Yeah, my wife and I founded it. We're coming up on 8 years now.
So you're a real book nerd, eh?
My wife's the book nerd. I'm the beer geek, so.
Kim,
She's a book dork.
if you haven't been there, all their beers and shit, they're named after like literary kind of works and stuff like that. It's pretty.
I was wondering where the book nerd came from. I was like, Jesus.